I want you to picture a couple like the Millers. They are seasoned travelers. They have been to Europe 10 times. They have their valid passports in their hands. They have their printed cruise tickets for a dream voyage down the Danube. It is May 2026. They walk up to the check-in kiosk at JFK or Heathrow. They scan their passports, expecting the machine to spit out a boarding pass just like it always has. Instead, the screen flashes red. Travel not authorized. A supervisor comes over. She doesn't ask for their tickets. She asks, "Did you register your biometrics in the new EES portal? Do you have your approved ETIAS digital permit?" The Millers stare at her. They thought those were just rumors or things that applied to other people. They thought their American or British or Canadian passport was a golden key that opened every door. The supervisor shakes her head. "I'm sorry. Without the digital entry permit linked to your face scan, the system physically cannot print your boarding pass. The flight is closed." The Millers didn't just miss a flight. They lost their $15,000 river cruise. They lost their anniversary trip, and they were left standing on the curb with their luggage, wondering when the rules changed. I am here to tell you the rules have already changed. While you were sleeping, the travel industry built a digital wall. The era of just show your passport and go is officially dead. If you try to travel in 2026 using the same habits you used in 2016, you will not make it past security. If we haven't met before, hello, my name is Sophia. I have been a flight attendant for 15 years. I am your guardian of travel. I have watched this industry move from paper tickets to electronic tickets and then to QR codes on phones. That was the digital transition. What is coming in 2026 is the biometric transition. I sit in the briefings. I see the internal memos from the airlines and the government agencies. I see the new scanners they are bolting to the floor at the gates right now. They are building a system designed for speed and security, but it is not designed for the senior traveler who values privacy or human interaction. I am making this video because I don't want you to be the Millers. I don't want you to be the passenger crying at the counter because a computer algorithm decided you didn't exist in the system. Today, I am going to translate the corporate jargon into a survival guide. We are going to cover the 5 massive changes hitting the industry by 2026. By the end of this video, you will know exactly which apps to download, which forms to file, and how to keep your freedom in a world that wants to track your every move. The first change is the biggest shakeup in international travel since 9/11. If you plan to visit Europe, France, Italy, Spain, Switzerland, you need to listen to this immediately. The open border is closing. It is being replaced by what we call the digital fortress. This is change number 1, the ETIAS and EES mandate. For decades, Americans, Canadians, and Brits could just fly to Europe and get a stamp in their passport. Easy. Starting fully in 2025 and becoming mandatory in 2026, that physical stamp is gone. It is being replaced by a digital dragnet called the Entry-Exit System. When you arrive in Europe in 2026, you will not walk up to a human officer in a booth. You will be directed to a row of automated kiosks that look like ATMs. You will have to scan your passport, you will have to scan your fingerprints, and you will have to scan your face for a high-resolution biometric map. This data is stored in a massive central database for 3 years. It tracks exactly when you enter and exactly when you leave to the second. If you overstay your 90-day limit by even 1 hour, the computer flags you, and you could be fined or banned from returning automatically. But wait, before you even get to the airport, you need ETIAS. This is not a visa, but it acts like one. It is a mandatory pre-screening. You must go online, fill out a form about your health, criminal history, and travel plans, and pay a fee. If you do not have this approved in the system before you check in for your flight at your home airport, the airline computer will block you. I had a passenger recently who got confused by a similar system for New Zealand. He was 80 years old, he didn't use computers much, he arrived at LAX for his flight to Auckland. He didn't have the NZTA, the agent told him to apply on his phone right there. His fingers were shaking. The Wi-Fi was slow, he couldn't read the tiny text on the screen. He got timed out twice. The flight closed while he was trying to enter his credit card number. Now imagine that stress, but applied to every single trip to Rome, Paris, or Athens. The 96-hour rule: do not wait until the last minute. Apply for your ETIAS at least 96 hours before you fly. Sometimes the system triggers a manual review that takes days. If you do it at the airport, you will miss your flight. The scam warning: there are already fake websites charging $80 to file this form for you. The official fee is roughly $7. If a site asks for $50 or $80, it is a scam. Only use the official .europa.eu domain. The paper backup. Even though it is digital, print out your ETIAS approval email. Keep it with your passport. Computers crash, batteries die, paper does not crash. Change number 1 was about governments. Change number 2 is about the airlines. And it is happening right here at home in the US, UK, and Canada. This is change number 2, the death of the boarding pass. We are moving rapidly toward tokenless travel. In 2026, your face is your ticket. Airlines hate paper. They hate scanning barcodes because it takes 3 seconds per passenger. Facial recognition takes 0.5 seconds. They are installing biometric gates. You walk up to the jet bridge. You don't take your phone out. You don't take your boarding pass out. You look at a camera. The camera matches your face to the photo on file with customs passport control. The plastic gates fly open. You walk on. This feels convenient. Wow, so futuristic. But you need to ask, who owns my face? When you walk through that gate, you are giving the airline permission to access your biometric profile from the government database. For many of my senior passengers, this feels deeply invasive. It feels like losing control. Here is the problem technology companies don't talk about: aging. Biometric algorithms struggle with age progression. If your passport photo is 9 years old and you have lost weight, gotten new glasses, or had dental work, the machine might not recognize you. I saw this happen to Mrs. Higgins in Atlanta during a trial run of this system. She was wearing heavy prescription glasses because she had just had cataract surgery. She stepped up to the camera. Red light. No match. She took off her glasses. She squinted. Red light. No match. The line behind her started groaning. Come on, lady. She started to panic. Her heart rate went up. She felt like a criminal. Finally, a human agent had to come over, override the system, and check her passport manually. But Mrs. Higgins was so rattled she was shaking for the first hour of the flight. You need to know your rights. In the US, biometric boarding is optional for US citizens. You do not have to use the face scanner. But the airlines make it hard. They hide the opt-out signs. They herd you like cattle toward the cameras. If you do not want your face scanned, or if you are worried the machine will reject you, do not step onto the floor mat in front of the camera. Hold your physical passport and paper boarding pass clearly in your hand. Say to the agent, I am opting out of biometrics. Please verify me manually. They must comply, they might sigh, they might roll their eyes, but they must do it. If you choose to use the biometrics because it is faster, take your glasses off and stop smiling. The algorithm maps the distance between your pupils and the shape of your cheekbones. Glasses and smiling distort these measurements. Be a neutral statue, and the gate will open. We have talked about how they track your face. Now let's talk about how they track your wallet. You might remember the days when flight prices were predictable. You flew on a Tuesday, it was cheaper. You booked 3 months out, it was cheaper. By 2026, those rules are gone. They are being replaced by hyperdynamic pricing AI. This is change number 3, the willingness to pay algorithm. Airlines are no longer just looking at supply and demand. They are looking at you. New AI systems are being integrated into airline booking engines. These systems build a profile of you based on your device, your location, and your search history. The computer knows you are searching from an iPad. You are searching from a retirement community zip code. Most importantly, you have checked the same flight to Phoenix 4 times in the last 3 days. The AI interprets your repeated searching not as careful planning, but as commitment. It knows you need that specific flight to see your grandkids. So, what does it do? It applies a micro surcharge just for you. While the 22-year-old backpacker searching in incognito mode sees a price of $400, you, the loyal, careful senior, might see $480. We call this the worry tax. They are monetizing your anxiety. I helped a couple, the Hendersons, book a trip to Italy. They were distraught. Sophia, they said, every time we refresh the page to double-check the dates, the price goes up $50. We have to buy now or we'll go broke. I took their iPad. I cleared the cookies. I turned on a VPN. I refreshed the page. The price dropped by $400. The seats weren't filling up. The algorithm was bluffing them. It was playing poker. And because they looked nervous, it raised the bet. In 2026, you cannot be a predictable shopper. You must be a digital ghost. The incognito rule: never search for flights on your regular browser. Always right-click and select Open Incognito Window or Private Window. This prevents the airline from seeing your history. The device swap: search on your phone, but buy on your laptop. Don't let them link the search history to the purchase device. The VPN tool: if you travel often, invest $5 a month in a VPN. Set your location to a poorer country or just a different city. Sometimes booking a flight to London looks cheaper if the computer thinks you are in Mexico City rather than New York. This next change breaks my heart because it leaves so many of my older passengers vulnerable. We are moving toward a 100% cashless travel ecosystem. This is change number 4, the Cashless Cliff. You used to keep a crisp $100 bill in your sock for emergencies. That was smart. In 2026, that $100 bill might as well be monopoly money in many transit hubs. Airports like London Heathrow and many terminals in the US have already gone cashless. You cannot buy a bottle of water, a newspaper, or a sandwich with cash. On board the aircraft, we haven't accepted cash for drinks in years. For seniors who rely on cash as a safety net, this is terrifying. What happens if your credit card gets flagged for fraud because you are in a new country? What happens if you drop your card and it slides under a kiosk? If you don't have a digital backup, you starve. I was working a flight from Dallas to Honolulu, a long flight. A gentleman in row 20, a diabetic, pressed his call button. His hands were shaking. He was having a hypoglycemic drop. He needed sugar. He asked to buy a juice box and a snack pack. He pulled out a crumpled $20 bill. I had to tell him, "Sir, I'm sorry, the machine only takes cards." He didn't have a credit card. He only used cash. He started to panic. "I need sugar." Now, of course, as a human being, I gave him the juice from my own crew stash. I wasn't going to let him go into shock. But relying on the kindness of a flight attendant is not a strategy. If he had been in an automated airport vending area with no humans around, he would have been in serious medical trouble. You must set up digital wallets before you leave your house. Apple Pay, Google Pay. You need to have your credit card loaded onto your phone. Why? Because even if you lose your physical wallet, you still have your phone. You can still buy food and taxis. The redundant card. Never travel with just one card network. If you have a Visa, you must also carry a MasterCard or Amex. The prepaid option. If you hate credit cards, go to Walmart or a pharmacy and buy a prepaid Visa travel card. Load it with $500. Treat that as your digital cash. It protects your main bank account but works like a card in the machine. Change number 5 is the one that frustrates me the most as a crew member. I see the fallout every time a flight is canceled. The customer service agent is dying. They are being replaced by the chatbot. This is change number 5, the service void. By 2026, getting a human being on the telephone will be a luxury service reserved for platinum or diamond status flyers. For everyone else in economy, the phone number will be hidden deep on the website, or it will direct you to a text message bot. When a blizzard hits Chicago and 500 flights are canceled, the rebooking algorithm works automatically. It puts you on the next available flight. But the computer is stupid. It might route you from New York to Miami via Seattle. It doesn't know you can't run through terminals. It doesn't know you need to be home for a medical appointment. And you cannot argue with an algorithm. I remember a snowstorm last winter. A sweet lady, Mrs. Gable, was stranded at the gate. Her flight was canceled. She was weeping into her phone. "It keeps saying I didn't understand that," she told me. She was talking to the airline's virtual assistant voice bot. She was trying to explain that her connection was too tight for her walking speed. The bot kept looping her back to the main menu. Meanwhile, the 25-year-old next to her used the app to rebook himself in 30 seconds. Mrs. Gable spent the night in the airport because she couldn't break through the digital wall to get a human to help her. You have to learn the cheat codes to summon a human. The app-first mentality: download the airline's app, create an account, make sure you are logged in. The chat trigger: when using the text chat, do not type full sentences like "I missed my flight because of snow." The bot gets confused. Type keywords. The magic word is usually representative or agent. Type it 3 times if you have to. If that fails, type complaint. Most bots are programmed to escalate complaints to humans immediately to avoid PR issues. The international hack. If the US phone line is a 4-hour wait, Google the airline's number for Singapore or Australia. Call that number. You will get an English-speaking agent in a different time zone who is bored and happy to help you. Finally, we need to talk about the cost. You might have noticed tickets getting more expensive. That isn't just inflation. That is the beginning of the green transition. This is change number 6, the environmental surcharge. Governments, especially in Europe, are mandating that airlines switch to sustainable aviation fuel, our SAF. SAF is amazing for the planet. It reduces emissions by up to 80%. But here's the catch. It costs 3 to 5 times more than regular jet fuel. Who do you think is going to pay that difference? You are. By 2026, analysts predict ticket prices could rise by 15% to 20% purely to cover these green mandates. You will see new line items on your receipt: environmental tax, ETS surcharge, or green fuel contribution. Airlines will also use flight shaming psychology during checkout. You will see a box, offset your carbon footprint for $25. For a senior on a fixed income, this guilt tax adds up. I had a passenger complaining about the junk fees on his ticket to Germany. He showed me the receipt. The base fare was $400. The taxes, fees, and surcharges were $550. He thought he was being scammed. I had to explain, "Sir, that isn't the airline. That is the European Union's carbon tax and the airport's green fees." He was shocked. He hadn't budgeted for the ticket essentially doubling in price. Budget adjustment: if you plan a trip for 2026, add 20% to your flight budget now. Do not use 2024 prices as a guide. Read the receipt. Learn to distinguish between government taxes and carbon offsets. If the website asks, "Do you want to offset your carbon?" that is usually optional. You can uncheck it if your budget is tight. You are already paying the mandatory green tax in the ticket price. The extra box is often a donation to a third party. Don't pay twice if you don't have to. The final change is one that will physically affect you the most. For years, we have played a game with the airlines. We bring a carry-on that is slightly too big or slightly too heavy, and we hope the gate agent is too busy to notice. In 2026, the game is over. The human factor is being removed from baggage sizing. This is change number 7, the automated carry-on crackdown. Airlines are realizing they are losing millions in revenue because passengers are stuffing 30-pound bags into the overhead bins to avoid checking fees. So, they are installing automated sizers and gate scales. In Europe, this is already happening with budget carriers. By 2026, expect to see laser sizers at major US hubs. You won't just walk past a human. You will walk through a scanner that measures the dimensions of your bag in 3D. If it is 1 inch too big, an alarm sounds, and you are flagged. This scares me for my seniors. Because you are afraid of checking bags, you try to pack everything into a carry-on. That bag becomes a 30-pound lead weight. Lifting that weight into an overhead bin is the #1 cause of rotator cuff tears and spinal compression injuries I see on planes. In 2026, if you are struggling to lift your bag because it's overweight, the flight attendants, who are also under stricter injury prevention rules, will not lift it for you. They will tag it, they will gate check it, and they will charge you $100 for the privilege. I watched a gentleman, Mr. Clark, boarding a flight to London. He was trying to avoid the baggage fee. He had a heavy, expanded carry-on. The gate agent weighed it. It was 2 kilos over the limit. She said, "You have to check this, that will be $75. Mr. Clark argued. He got flustered. In the chaos, he handed over the bag. He forgot to take out his CPAP machine and his heart medication. The bag went into the hold. The flight was 9 hours. He spent the night terrified, without his breathing machine. He saved the checked bag fee, but risked his health. That is a bad trade. The under-seat strategy: stop fighting for overhead bin space. It is a losing battle. Switch to a personal item-sized bag that fits under the seat in front of you. It stays with you. It contains your meds. You don't have to lift it. The compliance buy: go to your closet. Measure your carry-on, including the wheels and handle. If it is larger than 22 x 14 x 9 inches, donate it. Buy a new bag labeled International Carry-On. Do not expand it. An expanded bag is an oversized bag to a laser scanner. We have covered a lot of scary ground today, from facial scans to AI pricing algorithms. I know this feels overwhelming. It feels like the golden age of travel is over. But I want to hear from you. Question of the day. Which of these changes worries you the most? Is it the privacy aspect? Is it the technology barrier? Or is it the lack of humans to help you? Type privacy, tech, or humans in the comments below. I read every single comment. I want to know what you need help with so I can make my next video for you. I want to leave you with this final thought. I know I have painted a picture of a digital fortress. I know it feels like the walls are closing in on the freedom of travel. But I want you to remember why we do this. We travel to see the sunset over the Parthenon. We travel to taste the pasta in Florence. We travel to hug the grandchildren who moved to Tokyo or London. We travel to feel alive. The airlines and the governments can build all the digital walls they want. They can install scanners and robots and algorithms. But they cannot take away your curiosity. They cannot take away your right to see the world you helped build. Do not let these changes stop you. Do not let fear shrink your world until it is the size of your living room. You are resilient. You have survived recessions and pandemics and raising teenagers. You can survive an app. You just need the right tools. Renew that passport, download the airline app, buy the data blocker, and book the ticket. I will be right here with you, translating the jargon and guarding your journey. The world is still beautiful, it's just a little more digital. I'm Sophia, your guardian of travel. Armor up, prepare yourself, and I will see you in the sky.